Hey guys, welcome back to Burnout's Hot Rod Shop. Today is Fix It Up Friday. So we're actually going to fix something up this week. If you saw my Tuesday video, you saw that I said that my favorite item that I picked up over the weekend wasn't part of that toolbox. And I wasn't going to tell you what it was. Today, we're going to clean it up. I picked it up at an antique store, and it's in pretty good shape, but it's still a little crusty. I'll give you some details here in a moment. It's one of these guys. I've been looking for one of these in decent shape at a decent price. I call it the pagoda. To me, it just looks like a pagoda. But it's a display from the 50s with the double open-end wrenches. Like I say, they're in pretty good shape. They've got a little rust here and there. They got a little dirt in them. The display itself is in really good shape. Most of them I've seen have been rusty, or the numbers and stuff have been rubbed off of them. But we're going to give that one a cleanup and see how it looks. But if I sit here and just talk to you, it's not going to get done. So let's jump at it. All right. So let's take a look at what we've got a little bit more in detail. So this is the set that I picked up minus the 5/8 and 3/4. So this one wasn't in there. It had a newer, there's another one of these, the 3/4 and 7/8. So I had 2 3/4 and 7/8. Like I said, it was a newer V series. It was the one, or this one you can see has the panel with the 2 lines. It was the one that was the panel where Craftsman is spread out more and there's no lines on it. Which I do collect those too, so I wasn't disappointed. But I did have one of these. I knew I had it, so that was not a big deal to me. I picked this set up for $60. I know on eBay I see this display in similar shape. Just the display, nothing on it, is running about, I've seen them as low as $97, as much as $105. So kind of right around that $100 range just for the display, and another $80-ish for the wrenches. Together, I've seen them for like $156 as sold items. You can see, if we look on these, there's just little marks and stuff, nothing major. Like I say, that's the one that I added. If we look at this 1 inch, you can see it's got a little rust in there in the opening, some marks and stuff back there. I'm not going to take all the marks off of it. I'm going to wire wheel it, and I'm going to polish it. Now this is the smaller set of double open ends. They did have a larger, more complete set that came with these other 3 that I have laid out. So that would be the 1 1/16 and 1 1/8. I did have one of those. The 13/16 and 25/32. And I had one of those. And then this one is the 1/4 and 5/16. And this one, if you watch my tool haul, actually that one may not have aired yet. It was from a few weeks ago. It's got a little bend to it. I'm going to leave the bend in this one because I think I have another one of these out in the pole barn, but there's a lot of snow between here and there. So I'm just going to clean this one up. These I'll just display with it on my desk. I'll kind of lay it out like this on my desk once I get it all ready to go. But let's jump in and let's get the wire wheel going and see how these come out. I'll switch hoodies and jump on the wire wheel and set you guys up so you can watch a little bit. The wire wheel work, that's 7 times fast, is done. You can see a pretty good shine on that stuff. Next is going to be polish work. Here you can see how they've gotten the wrenches off of it. We've got this discoloration. I'm not going to mess with it too much. I'm going to use a cleaner wax and call that done because I don't want to do anything that starts to damage the original finish. It says if you feel it, it almost feels like it's an undercoating more than it's the top. I'm wondering if there was some type of a laminate put over the top or something. I know back then they didn't clear coat, but it almost looks like a clear coat peel or something. But everything is in such good shape. I think just a coat of the Meguiar's cleaner wax on it. And then I'm going to use the white number 7 polishing compound on the wrenches. So we'll do that next. See how that goes. All right, so we get the good and trusty old Meguiar's out. You see this can's just about had it, but I've had this can probably since 2000, 2001. I'm trying to think, it was a door prize at a car show. If I remember correctly, it was when I lived in Crossville, Tennessee. Which I moved there in 2000. I was there in 2001 and left early in 2002 to go back to Indiana when my employer announced that they were closing the facility they had transferred me to. This stuff is so chunky. I don't like this. I may end up using some of the white polishing compound. And the white is a very light polishing compound. Honestly, it's probably not much different than the cleaner wax. Okay, yeah, this is spreading out now. You just needed to warm up a little bit. It's staying chunky and not letting it come off the applicator. So like I said, I'm not going in here to try to correct any of this. There's so many things I could try, but I don't want to because I don't want to risk any more damage. I'd rather just seal it in, give it the rat rod look without too much patina. Don't need to add more. Okay, we'll let that sit for a minute. And we'll put the wax away. And the other thing I want to do while I let this sit, and guys do this one differently. With these more liquidy compounds, you can see you can get in here and mix it around a little bit, and it's just kind of a gel type consistency. I like to go ahead and just smear it on and let it start to set up a little bit. So I will get it on this first one. Maybe even a couple of them. Just put it on and kind of work it into the metal a little bit. And we'll let the polisher do all the work. Make sure you get it in here. So we're going to polish that up, and the polisher also kind of seals up the metal. I'm just going to go ahead and knock all these out with this first setup. Because if the polishing wheel has to work a little bit harder to get it out of there, that's not going to hurt anything. I've had bolts and stuff for cars that I've let sit overnight. With compound on it, just for this reason. I don't know if you guys can even see the fact I was polishing it. But yeah, it's part of the fun. So as a Craftsman guy, I thought this was pretty cool. Hopefully you other Craftsman guys now understand why I said it was a tough choice between that underline C double box end. I forget the sizes on it right now, but I think it was over an inch, both ends of it, if I remember correctly. That is the largest underline C tool that I've got, I think. And I'm not sure about you guys. I don't see a lot of underline C. And I really don't see a lot of larger underline C. Which is kind of interesting. Because back in the 30s and stuff, they had a lot of large nuts and bolts on cars. My 48 Chrysler over there has, I think, more larger size stuff than my 77 Mustang does. Definitely more than the 77 Mustang. I think more than the 71 Lincoln. So I find it interesting that I don't see as many of the larger size stuff in the older series. As more guys were working on their cars at home and stuff. I know I'm rambling, but it'd be kind of weird just to sit here and watch me smear wax all over this without some sort of commentary. Great. I think we just about got it. Cap back on that guy. Let my hand off. There, now the cap's all the way on. And then we'll take any of the excess wax off of this. It's shining it up. It's giving it a good shine. Always liked that Meguiar's cleaner wax. I've honestly used that quite a bit for cleaning off overspray, that kind of stuff on the show cars. You know, if you go in and you touch up a wheel well or something and you get a little overspray someplace you don't want it, that does real well at taking it off. So here, hopefully you can see that. Yeah, look at that shine. It glistens a lot better. So next up, we'll polish these wrenches. Okay, we're back from the buffing wheel. So let's give these guys a good wipe down. Make sure we get off any excess residue. I buy these cheap Amazon microfibers. They work good at just kind of being an all-purpose shop towel. They're not something I'm using on the Cobra or something to pull wax off, but they work fine on a tool or something like that. They do good in here for what they're used for. And once I get these all finished wiped, I'll lay them out and let you guys see them. So we'll go, and then we'll put them in the container or in the holder as well. Let's see, it's gonna be this one, right? Yeah, should actually be. Yeah, that one's the longer one. And these things cleaned up beautiful. Excited to show them to you when they're all laid out and ready to go. And you can use, if you've got a quick detailer or something, you can always spray a little quick detailer on here to get the compound, any excess compound off. I don't have any in here. It's all out in the barn. So just a little bit more pressure on the rag does the same thing. And the ones that came in the set when I got it, other than the mismatched one, most of them had the name Ken on them. So Ken, whoever you are, wherever you are, I just want to thank you, sir, for being a good steward of these tools and taking great care of them, because we know so many people did not take great care of their Craftsman tools. I've found so many that are so boogered up. And I will say, knowing a lot of mechanics and stuff, and being related to mechanics and working as a mechanic for a while, a lot of guys look at Craftsman as the brand similar to what Harbor Freight is today. It was a good, cheap brand that you could go break and take back, and your shears would take it back, no questions asked. So if you had something you needed to do a little sketchy work with, as opposed to grabbing a Snap-on or a Mac or a Matco and doing it and having the tool truck driver question what you were doing with this because it looks like you were misusing it. Screwdrivers aren't supposed to be pry bars. Flex head ratchets aren't supposed to be used for lug nuts, those kinds of things. You could take the Craftsman tool back to Sears and they would just take it back. I mean, I knew guys that they would weld sockets to extensions and that kind of stuff and then go break the extension off before the weld and take the extension back and say, hey, this snapped off. And back in the day, the Sears guy would take it back. He didn't care. All right, they're all wiped down, so let's take a closer look. All right. Look at that shine. Those things just glisten now. And they were obviously used. They weren't an NOS piece. And there weren't many people back in the 50s, 40s and 50s and stuff, buying a tool to put it away. They were bought to be used. And these were, but they were well taken care of. Let's set up the display. All right, look how beautiful those came out. That's how they'll be displayed on my desk. I hope you other Craftsman guys are as excited as I am about this. I've wanted one of these displays for my desk for a while. I think that's going to look awesome. It's Flying V. You know, a lot of people say that's the pinnacle of Craftsman. It's the cool old logo. I don't know the exact years they did that logo, but I just always thought that one was pretty interesting. I honestly, I like most of their logos. The crown and stuff's all cool too, and the underline C, of course. So yeah, let's see what we've got coming up for Tuesday with our next tool haul. Maybe we'll get back on the holiday week. We'll get those last 4 episodes knocked out. And we've got a couple other series I'm working on, so stay tuned.